Hello, this is Alice with Locked and Loaded YouTube channel. Let's talk about PTSD today. How about we do that? I think that's a good idea. Want to know why? Because yesterday was June 1st, and June is PTSD Awareness Month. And you better believe I'm going to write that shit all on the back of my vehicle. I'm making t-shirts, and I made bracelets last year. And I actually would... the grocery store that we shop at last year, I left like 3 or so, or a handful of the bracelets I made in like carts that people were going to take. So they weren't already using them, okay? And who knows what they did with them. I didn't care. Hopefully they give it to someone else. I don't know. Or wear it themselves. Whatever. But let's talk about PTSD. Now, I'm going to read from an article, and I'm going to kind of skim it because it's pretty long. So, as you know, PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. And right now, I'm not going to really focus on CPTSD, aka complex PTSD, because the article that I'm going to, that I'm referring to, it doesn't go into that. So, and let's try to keep this as short as possible. So the website that I'm at is for the National Institute of Mental Health, and I will put a little linky in the description so you can go there yourself and get the full article. And there are a ton of articles on this, but I just feel that this is straight to the point. And while I'm not in agreement with all of it, and I'll explain why later when we get to those points, it's great. It's good information. And these people should know what they're talking about, right? Yeah, I think so. So obviously, post-traumatic stress disorder is a disorder, I don't like that word, that develops in some people who've experienced a trauma. On here it says shocking, scary, or dangerous event. Sure. AKA trauma? Okay, sure. So it is natural to feel afraid after a traumatic situation. And fear triggers many split-second changes in the body to help defend oneself. So fight or flight. We're humans, and we are very smart, and most of us, I mean a lot of us, half maybe, I don't know. I'm losing hope by the day for us in America at least, but yeah, I was just going to focus on this in America. You guys are nuts out there, and I'm going to try to stay away from political conversations in the future, but we may have to go there a little bit. At this time, forget all that, all right? So, essentially, when you experience a trauma, and I'm not reading it from here, okay? This is coming from me and just stuff I've read and what I've learned through my experiences. And I've been in therapy for 2.5 years now, doing EMDR as much as possible, and cognitive behavioral therapy, so other ways like talking it out. There's more to it than that. But at any rate, so it's natural for us to react in a fight or flight kind of a reaction to something crazy, traumatic, life-threatening, or you can, I've heard of secondary PTSD, where someone can get it from someone else's trauma. Okay, which is really scary because you want support, yet I definitely don't want to give anyone PTSD. Fuck no, this is the fucking pits, okay? Yeah. So, signs and symptoms, and this is where I really actually am going to read from, because obviously not every person who experiences trauma is going to get PTSD. Actually, most people who experience trauma won't get it. And actually, and out of the people that get it, a lot of them have short-term or acute PTSD, and where symptoms, they rear their head within, the first month or 3 months of that said event, the trauma. Then there's chronic PTSD, which is, ongoing and long, and then I don't know if, so then there's also delayed onset PTSD, which is what I have or got or whatever. So to be diagnosed, and this is where I'm going to read from here, to be diagnosed with PTSD, an adult must have all of the following for at least a month. At least one re-experiencing symptom, at least 2 avoidance symptoms, at least 2 arousal and reactivity symptoms, at least 2 cognition and mood symptoms. And just quickly, re-experiencing symptoms include flashbacks, bad dreams, aka nightmares, aka night terrors, depending on how bad you have it, frightening thoughts, and I would state that with all of these things, hypervigilance can come out, but we'll see if it's listed here. I don't think it is. But obviously, re-experiencing stuff and all of these symptoms can affect your life, socially, with your family, working. I know I definitely can't work, and I can't hang out and have a social life right now. I can't even go to stores normally, okay? Like grocery shopping. Like, I can run in, but that's it. Anyways, moving on. So, avoidance symptoms include staying away from places, events, or objects that are reminders of the traumatic experience. For example, in a house that I lived in 2 houses ago, which there was a lot of abuse going on there, so bad. Like, I can't, like, the worst. Like, he tried to strangle and suffocate me so many times and hit me so many times there. I cannot go on the street. I cannot go near the neighborhood. Can't do it. And avoiding thoughts or feelings related to the traumatic event. Duh. I mean, why do we want to think about it? I know my therapist has me, because I worked very hard to not think about that shit when I'm out of her office. When I go into her office, I can unlock that box and let that stuff out, and we will deal with it. But if I'm at home or if I'm not in her office, I try not to think about it unless I'm triggered or something that comes up, and then I'll talk it out with my husband if he's home, kind of process it. Or I'm going to be using these videos to do that too, so you guys can see it rearing its head in real time. And arousal and reactivity symptoms include being easily startled, feeling tense or on edge, having difficulty sleeping, having angry outbursts. Again, I hate that word outburst, okay? It reminds me of a damn toddler throwing a tantrum. That is not what we do, okay? At least I don't, and no. No. All right? So if an adult is throwing themselves on the floor, throwing a tantrum, or doing dead body, falling through someone's arms, you know what I'm talking about. Toddlers do that. I think there's something else going on, all right? My opinion. Cognition and mood symptoms include trouble remembering key features of the traumatic event, negative thoughts about oneself or the world, and I would say that these are intrusive thoughts, because they are, like, when I get that, lately it's been, I'm so afraid that I'm going to die. Like, die in my sleep, die driving in the car. I don't have any traumas related to vehicles or sleep, so I just am it's so intrusive, and so it gives me panic attacks. Actually, it's been better the past month, but before that I was getting panic attacks almost every night because I was afraid I was going to die that night. So crazy. Distorted feelings like guilt or blame or shame. I'm going to add that. Guilt and shame are so huge with me, and I have to remember to have compassion for myself, which I want you to do as well if you have PTSD. Because most importantly, you didn't want this, and you didn't want the traumas that you lived and survived through. So let's think about that. Do you deserve the blame and to carry shame and the guilt? For me, it is so heavy. There's so much of it. No, you do not. All right? Loss of interest in enjoyable activities regarding social life, playing instruments. I mean, for me, writing, music at times. I'm really into Hobson and Slipknot right now, and Mushroom Head. And I really never used to like metal so much, but I'm so flippin' angry, like when I get triggered, that I'm fucking loving it. Metal used to give me headaches, and it was like scary, raw. To me, I would, my husband loves that shit. Uh-uh. I'm more into like old school, like R&B type stuff, or um, like lyrical hip hop, like Joe Budden. I love Hobson. It's kind of new to me, but his shit's really dope. And then Slipknot. I mean, Slipknot is Slipknot, One of my favorite songs right now is People Equal Shit. It's true. A lot of people do. Especially our abusers, right? Fuck them. So, all right. That's about all I'm going to go into about details today. Obviously, there's so much information. There's a lot of information out there. And there's other websites that you can go read from. Okay? So, but like I said, I'm going to put the link in down there. Please spread awareness about PTSD. There is so much to it. I mean, I know I told you guys that I'm going to try to keep my videos as short as possible. I really don't want long ones because I don't have a whole lot going on in my videos except for me talking, and I'd like to retain, the viewership or the person listening, to stay with me because, it's important to me. I want to have open conversation and dialogue, and I'm tired of the stigma. It sucks. I'm scared to go into the world because it's like, to me, it's like there are, it's like a minefield out of my house. And even in my house, I could be triggered at any time. Okay. So it's scary. Yeah, I'm going to do another video and I'm going to include some pictures and some, little clips from my trip to the forest over Memorial Day weekend. Well, we came back Sunday, but I needed to escape, and it was really beautiful, and I'm going to share some of that with you guys. So this is long enough, and I hope that some of you who don't understand PTSD I really didn't give that much information, and that's just really that's just an article stating that. My brain is too all over the place for me to kind of just go there right now. So we're going to leave it at that for now. I hope you are having a very blessed day. And so I got a bunch of other masks too. And if I'm really pissed off, I mean, I have a skeleton one it's pretty badass. And then I also have a unicorn one. I don't know if I'll use that. And these are riding masks, which I love riding and off-roading, but I'm not, so it's kind of annoying, okay? Oh, and I wanted to state that I am not covering, my hands, and if you notice, I'm not covering my hands anymore, and I'm allowing, parts of me to be shown that would prove who I am. But if you are watching this and you know me already, you already know it's me anyways, so what? What am I going to do? I can't do anything. But let me tell you, if you're someone that I'm talking about in any of my videos, and you're like family members, like siblings, kick rocks, fool. Because let me tell you, try me, all right? And some peers that I have lost along the way that I have known for a very long time, come at me, I will make you cry, because guaranteed you will trigger me and I will fucking make you cry. But other than that, please share these videos. Even if you know me, please share them. I don't want some psycho getting pissed off and looking me up and finding where I am and trying to do some shit. My brain goes totally dark and I think the worst things. So, I mean, I don't want that shit to happen, but, we're strapped in this house, and I'm hyper vigilant as it is, so I'm like a pit bull in the house. Yeah, I don't fuck around, all right? But still, I don't need the extra drama, so I don't need to be pushed over the edge because I'm already ready to fuck someone up, all right? Really bad thing, but that's how I feel, so fuck it. Anyways, you know what? God fucking bless.